Hi, this short video is on how to program the BIOS on a, in this case, HPG or 650G2 BIOS chip. We got a whole bunch of these donated to us, and they're a decent set of hardware inside there for a free computer to use in our school. However, all of them, got 300, are BIOS locked and are set up in a way that we can't image these computers at all to reuse them. So I wanted to redo the BIOS, and HP was very helpful. They said if you want to unlock the BIOS, just replace the motherboard, and obviously that's not something we want to do. So I ordered one BIOS from Croatia and tried it in there, and it was just what it said it was. I paid $9 on eBay, and it is unlocked. And now I've got 300 more to unlock, and this is how I did it. First of all, if you've never opened up one of these before, that's where the BIOS chip goes, and these are just lifts, and once you lift them on there, the BIOS is just sitting right there exposed, and it has all the information right there on top of that chip, which is completely unreadable to me at the age of 55. Microscope from the next door biology teacher in order to read what was on there. So I pulled that out, and I'm using the EZP2019 Plus programmer, and I'm going to show you how I use that. This is one of the adapters that was on there. I think I paid less than $20 for this. It has lots more than I needed. All I need is the USB cable, this, and the adapter that this goes in. This is plugged in the top set of pinholes, and then the lever goes down. So that lever arm comes up, you just the BIOS chip, and then you lock it down. The way that the BIOS chip goes in there, this whole area on the outside squeezes down, and when it goes down, the arms come up to expose the contacts. You set the BIOS chip in there, and then they go down and they make contact right on there. There's the BIOS chip in there. Now, I'm going to show you the software. Very easy to use. I had to put the one that I bought from Croatia on eBay in there first to copy it, and then I wrote it to this chip to make it work. In fact, this chip is one that is currently BIOS protected that I'm going to write while we're doing this. So you put it in there, and then you plug it into your USB, and the lights will come on. It is plugged in now. I'm going to go from this to the software so you can see it being used here. So I put that in there. When I put it on the microscope, this is what I saw. It's an MX1C chip, the 25L12873F, which did not exist on my software, but the 12873E worked just fine. So let's go to that software and I'll show you, but you need to get that number off your chip in order to know what to set up on the software that comes with this. Now, this is the software that comes with it. It was free and with the writer. So I first had to go over here under the chip and pick that MX1C, which was right on that label, and then the MX29L12873 was the closest one that it would get to once I did that. Basically, you can hit find here and just start typing it, which is what I did. I did type 25L128, and you can see it looking shorter and shorter, and that's the one that was the closest. And I also then noticed that MX1C is the manufacturer, not knowing anything about chips. That is the one, other than the last letter, that looked like the right one to try. So that's the one I decided to try first. Then I hit the read button. So I hit read, and it goes through and does a complete read. And I did this first on the good chip that had the BIOS unlocked. And if you have one laptop that the BIOS is unlocked, you can just pull out the chip and do a read. All of our settings, passwords, everything that I wanted on the chip. Did this read. So you do the read. After you're done doing the read, I hit save, and I saved that as my BIOS configuration that I wanted to then load to all the rest of my BIOS chips. So it was important to have all this set up right first, because when I tried it, When this was not set up correct, it did not work at all. In fact, it read in like 5 seconds. So if you hit read and you see it go by like that, you know it didn't really read your BIOS, because if I don't know if it'll let me scroll while I'm doing this, it won't. The BIOS is pretty big. It's not a little tiny itsy bitsy set of hex code, and that's what it did. It read like the beginning of the BIOS and not the same thing. So I'm going to go and pause this while it finishes the read. So once it finishes reading, on the original one, just to have a backup, hit save, and I saved it as original.bin file. And then I'll hit save, and do you want to overwrite it? Yes, because that actually wasn't a good save. So I saved that original, and then I did the same thing with the good one. And now I'm going to open the one that is the one I want to write. So now this one is the one I want to actually write to. So I've got the good one open, so you can see I've got the original BIOS and the new BIOS. So the new BIOS is the one that I want to use. So I open that. And then I don't write. I'm going to use this auto, and that's going to erase this chip, program the chip, and then verify the chip. So I hit auto, and this again is going to take about 5 minutes, is what it took my last chip to do the whole kabang between erasing the BIOS chip, reprogramming the BIOS chip, and then verifying the BIOS chip was good. After I did that, I had a perfect copy of the one that I ordered online, because of my 300 laptops, I had none that weren't BIOS locked, and the Air Force unit that I got them from refused to give me the password, which I kind of understand. They didn't want to give up their BIOS password. At the same time, I always use a new BIOS password for every load of computers I get, so that if I give mine away, I can give out my BIOS password, but that's a technique that I use. Anyway, that's it. It's actually pretty darn easy once I did it the first time. Cost me about $20 total. I guess with the BIOS chip that I ordered from off eBay, it was $30 total to be able to rewrite and reprogram all the BIOSes on a huge number of computers. Now, I will tell you that there are guides online on how you can go in and find the password in the hex code and blank out the password in the hex code on the one you have. I tried that, and I was unable to successfully do it, which doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means I gave up trying, because I have to maintain too much other stuff to spend too much time on this one particular issue. Hopefully I helped you out, since I couldn't find a single YouTube video on how to do this quickly, and I hope you get a little bit of assistance from it. Thanks.